Howdy folks, and welcome back to our story. In the last episode, we unveiled our new Voyager expedition trailer, which was finished up just a few hours before we needed to hit the road for Colorado. We rushed home and took a few minutes to drool over the new trailer before getting back to work. And so, we're picking up where we left off with a quick glass replacement after a mysterious event during our last adventure left our rear driver's window in shards. Crazy, dude.
Yeah, that's wild.
Thankfully, the Lexus dealer in Salt Lake had a factory replacement overnighted, and we began swapping it out as we worked late into the night, getting prepared for our next frantic run to yet another Expo. Turns out, we couldn't find a single how-to video on replacing this window, so I ended up winging it quite a bit, tugging on trim and removing parts until the glass would fit into the window slot. Once the little bits were out of the way, it was a fairly smooth process, and by midnight we had wrapped up this install along with a few other projects. After a quick sleep, we were back up at 5 a.m. and hitching up for a long drive into Colorado.
Somebody's calling from your dad.
Is he?
Yes.
It is 5:45 a.m. Time to roll out. Gotta get to Loveland and get checked in and set up. Let's roll. Expo number 3 for 2023 is begun. Over the past couple of years, we've gotten a lot of questions about the Tesla-style radio we installed in our GX. After many attempts to dial it in, including installing some custom Russian software,
if it asked for permissions, confirm and continue installing.
which improved it somewhat, I can tell you without a doubt to steer clear of this one. While I can put up with the quirks, random crashes, and inexplicable app switching, the unbelievably loud static pops when hitting potholes or driving on washboards has been the nail in the coffin. This radio is about to get thrown out. While a good smack to the dash will clear this up for 2 to 20 miles, it's a big problem for a sleeping baby, so we'll be reinstalling the factory radio very soon. How's it going? You say we're topping off a little bit of fuel, about 2.5 hours away from the show. Yeah. After a long but beautiful drive, we arrived at Overland Expo Mountain West. How's it going? How y'all doing? All right, here we are, Expo number 3 for the year. We got something new to show off. And after dropping off our rig, we headed out to pick up supplies for the weekend before crashing at our Airbnb.
I slept so good last night.
The next morning, we returned to the show and began setting up our new trailer for the very first time. Now just so you know, we didn't expect the team at Expedition Trailers to finish up this unit so early and in time for this show, so we didn't have time to properly outfit it with all of our camping gear for staying on site. In fact, we didn't even have time to show Sarah the portal pass-through before we hit the road, as you can tell by her amazement here. What do you think?
That is so awesome.
Right?
I want to sleep up here.
I know.
I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
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 This is so exciting. So, will there eventually be a way to like split Does that make sense? Like
So
like the mattress?
each one of those is going to be hinged.
Uh-huh.
Okay, the mattress is going to get cut right there.
Okay.
And then this will be 2 pieces.
So rad.
Somebody's getting sleepy. Somebody's getting sleepy.
I wish we got to camp in it before the show.
I know. So
Yeah,
that we
right.
could like actually speak to how
Uh-huh.
amazing it is.
Right.
We're just fantasizing it. Are you so excited to be able to have access to us, Caroline?
Yes.
Yeah.
Won't that be great?
We only had enough time to load the Voyager with the merch for our booth. And so this time around, it truly was just a showpiece. And this is just stage 1. You'll see later in this episode that we had just a few more tricks up our sleeve for making this unit even more incredible. After setting up our booth and greeting our fellow YouTubers, Epic Family Road Trip and Mountain State Overland, our fans and Patreon supporters began trickling in to say hi. Unfortunately, there was some weather that put a damper on the first day of the festivities, but it gave us the opportunity to get a taste of what life would be like camping out of this rig when the heavy rain moved in and sent all of us scrambling for cover. With the Truma heater blasting to dry us out and the portal opened up to the rooftop tent, Caroline quickly took up roost and we all snuggled in to watch as show attendees disappeared under the downpours. So, here's our first meal in the trailer.
Yes. Escaping the rain.
Yeah.
Gonna have a turkey sandwich.
Sandwich.
We can just lay out there.
There. So this is the merch trailer this trip.
Yeah.
How you like hanging out up there, Caroline?
I love it.
Yeah?
It's very fun.
Hello. All right, day 1 in the books. What?
0 out of 10, how much did you love it?
Yeah, very wet day.
Don't feel like answering that.
Phew. Push, mama,
Work
push. Well, our first day was a bust in the merch sales department. We were excited with our unplanned test of the cabin experience and returned the next morning, ready to try again. This time, the weather held, and we had a non-stop crowd passing by our booth, filled with smiling and mostly familiar faces from other events. Now, if you're new to our channel, you might be expecting some coverage of the event and all the fantastic gear on display, but in the past few years, we've committed ourselves to being present for our viewers instead of chasing content from the show itself. And with a baby added to our already chaotic year of 4 expos along with our typical adventure travels, the camera seldom came out of its bag.
Turn on my sound machine.
Okay, now that was embarrassing.
I got it.
No!
All right, another one in the books. Another one to go. Got to get our new trailer all packed up and ready, and then probably 4 or 5 weeks on the road. It's been a while since we've done such a long run,
yeah.
so looking forward to getting that thing out there. All right, signing off from Expo Mountain West. And so, after a spectacular time with fans and friends, we returned to the garage and quickly began outfitting our new trailer for its first real shakedown. Thankfully, this would be an opportunity for us to slow down and really play with all the bells and whistles on our new Voyager, surrounded by others who are just as in love with the platform as we are. And so with our freshly outfitted trailer hitched up behind us, we put the hammer down for southern Utah to meet up with some other expedition trailer owners for a good old-fashioned camp out in our cutting-edge Voyagers.
Wasting time, wasting money. You've been acting like a fool. You spend your whole life
By the time we found our friends and pulled into camp, we were stoked for our first night sleeping inside. And it didn't take long before we were set up and ready to break in the kitchen with a classic dish of carne asada tacos.
It's like I said, it's been a fairy tale story getting to this point. So, I mean, here we are.
Awesome.
Here we are. It's just crazy. Like, this is, the maiden voyage. This is the first camping night in this thing. So, yeah.
What's the neighbors cooking up over here?
Calabasa and cabbage.
Oh man.
And we're doing it the cheating way, with the bag. Yes.
Is that the bare bones stuff?
Uh-huh.
Nice.
So it's like one of those ooh la la, but it's so darn easy.
What are you doing, girl? What are you doing? Yeah?
What's that?
Not too dissimilar from you guys getting the Voyager trailers that we came up with. So from the bottom of our hearts, we thank you. Really.
After an awesome presentation by Artie and Stacy of Expedition Trailers on the history of the brand, it was time to climb into bed for the first time and begin a new era in the lifestyle overland camping experience. That night, we all got a rare, peaceful night of sleep before emerging from our toasty, snug cabin to begin whipping up some tastiness for a potluck breakfast. Our contribution was going to be some freshly baked cinnamon, raspberry, and orange rolls.
Nice, sure. Love it. Isn't it comfortable? Yeah.
See, your dad's rocking his today, too. Nice.
Hi. Hi, Smiley. How's it going?
like zoomed in on her face right now. That is so cute. Right there. Abigail, try this. That's called sugar.
The camping area was saturated in all kinds of wonderful smells. So as soon as we finished baking, it was time to dive in. As you know, we rarely camp with a large group, but this turned out to be a fantastic collection of folks, and the sampling of everyone's favorite breakfasts made it even better. What are we cooking over here?
Breakfast tacos.
Oh,
So chorizo,
smells
potatoes,
so
eggs, queso fresco.
So Artie, I don't see any flame over here. What are you cooking with? Not with gas, apparently.
So Stacy is making a steel cut oats recipe in the Instant Pot over here.
Hi. Is that tasty?
The kitchens were a little bit lower.
Yeah,
so
you like that?
Nuts and all those good things.
Like starting it really aggressively now, because then.
Signing at 5 and 6.
So what are we doing?
Walking breakfast.
Walking breakfast?
Yeah.
Any place in this country, and he will find someone.
Good morning.
What are we sharing?
We've got biscuits and gravy.
Yeah. I've already scouted this one out.
Where are you from?
We are from.
Yeah, she's just roaming.
Still cut oats around the corner.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty.
That is pretty.
Another thing we rarely do is camp more than one day in the same location. So to help offset our itchy need to move and typical curiosity about the surrounding area, several of us disconnected the tow rigs and headed out to explore the nearby terrain. And wow, was it ever spectacular.
You gotta find your people, the ones that make you feel alright, the kind you wanna stay up with all night. You gotta find your people, the ones that make you feel whole. They won't leave your side when you lose control. The ones that don't let you lose your soul. You gotta find your people, the ones that get the joke, who understand what you're saying before a word is spoke. You gotta find your people that put the needle in the groove. When you're together, you got nothing to prove. When you're together, you got nothing to lose. In a world full of strangers, you don't know who to trust. All you see is danger, trying to find what you lost. You can't go it alone, everybody needs help. You gotta find your people, then you'll find yourself. You gotta find your people that'll call your bluff, who'll ride along when the road is rough. You gotta find your people, the ones that make you feel equal. They pick you up and don't put you down, help you find your way in the lost and found. In a world full of strangers, you don't know who to trust. All you see is danger, trying to find what you lost. You can't go it alone, everybody needs help. You gotta find your people, then you'll find yourself. The ones that understand you, the ones that lend a hand to you, the ones that don't demand anything from you. You gotta find your people, the ones that make you feel alright, that tell you the truth and wish you well. You gotta find your people, then you'll find yourself. You gotta find your people, then you'll find yourself.
After our curiosity was thoroughly satisfied, we headed back to camp for the last night around the fire with these fine folks. Our very first owners group campout was a resounding success, and it felt amazing to be part of a passionate collection of like-minded folks. The shakedown of our new trailer was the icing on the cake, and we were quickly falling in love with our new home away from home. But we had more changes to go before it was totally dialed in. Whew, all right, folks, so we're wrapping up the Expedition Trailers camp out, and just in time. It is pouring the rain now. So next on the agenda is north to Salt Lake City to Expedition Trailers HQ. Drop the trailer off for yet some more fun additions. So stay tuned. It's only getting more interesting.
So what are we doing, Kev?
We are dropping off our brand new trailer for more brand new things. Because, you know, we're high maintenance that way. Now we've got a fresh tent and a couple of awnings that we're going to be adding into the mix. So I had to bring them on down to Artie's place. Get that taken care of. While our trailer was going back under the knife for even more fun upgrades, I turned my attention to a modification I've been planning for our Starlink satellite dish to make it a bit more portable, power efficient, and hopefully always connected even while on the trail. The first step is the most nerve-wracking since you have to carefully cut the back off of the unit without damaging the circuit board just below the surface. While I've seen this done with a Dremel tool or small router, I opted to use something a bit more forgiving and pulled out my trusty oscillating cutter, which basically does some fine cutting using a vibrating head. Once that tedious task was out of the way, I still called the Dremel into service to cut a path for the DC power cable entry. Next, we scavenged the cables from the discarded portion and converted the proprietary cable into an RJ45 connector to tie directly to the onboard router. Then I moved all the components into the new HDPE waterproof base, connected the cables, tie wrapped them into place, and then installed the plexiglass cover to help protect it from hail or that wayward foot. Finally, it was time to install this on the GX's roof rack. Now, I've received countless questions about this roof power box, so here's the secret. We use a trailer 7-pin cable harness, which we routed through the factory satellite radio antenna hole using a solar cable roof entry port to avoid drilling the roof. One of the biggest advantages to this kit was the conversion from the 120 volt AC power supply to a DC power supply and built-in router. This will cut down efficiency losses when using an inverter and help run the unit a little bit longer. For now, I'm just sticking this 12 to 48 volt transformer to the rack with some industrial Velcro since I want to be able to move this kit from rig to rig quickly. Sadly, there are rumors that Starlink might be disabling these dishes when traveling any faster than 10 miles per hour. So, do your research before you dive in with us. Either way, the portability and DC conversion are great upgrades. A few days later, it was time to head to the Expedition Trailer shop and see how things were progressing on our most recent upgrades. Uh-oh. Hey. Caught him.
How's it going?
It's going. What you doing?
Just finishing up the last door here.
All right. Holy cow. Look at that. That's fancy.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. That is cool. In our hurry to get the trailer to Expo Mountain West, we had foregone the portal door hardware and temporarily installed our old roof nest Falcon Pro until the permanent tent and awning could arrive. Now, with the Bush Company TX27 Max fitted, the team at Expedition Trailers could finalize the proper hinges and struts to allow the doors to flip up and stay up. We'll be testing these components a bit more before bringing it back to get the doors either powder coated or vinyl wrapped for its finishing touch. On the passenger side of the trailer, we've gone with the Bush Company 270 Max awning to give us incredible coverage all the way to the rear of the trailer. That looks awesome, dude.
This thing is amazing.
Oh my gosh. And it's not even all the way open yet.
I know. We have to pull it out and open her up.
Yeah. During the build process, we considered several tents for this trailer, and after having tested many styles, brands, and configurations over the years, we knew we needed something that would last just as long as the trailer itself. After our trial run with the wedge style at Mountain West Expo, I didn't like how squashed Caroline was into the wedge of the tent with the doors open, and so we needed a solution that could maximize that space upstairs. Enter the double wedge Bush Company tent. Problem solved. While this brand isn't very common in the United States, they've been the gold standard in South Africa and Australia for many years and have only begun to be more available here in the US more recently. I also like the fact that these are made in South Africa as opposed to the typical Chinese knockoffs of successful designs and brands. Stay tuned here and overlandprovision.com for more details on these tents and awnings. This might be a bit of a spoiler alert, but after several months of testing after this install, we've been beyond impressed at having found something we like to call professional grade, and we'll soon have these available in our own store, which, as you know, means a lot. After drooling over our new Sky condo and awning, I retraced my steps back to the garage and began installing another goodie from Bush Company. This time, a slightly smaller 270 awning to complement the format on the trailer. You can actually hold and relax there for just a second. Now, we've never used a legless awning design before, and so I'm pretty stoked to see how these beefier units will hold up to the desert winds that usually kept our previous units unfurled for fear of damage. While we're knocking out to-do list here in the garage, it was the perfect time to address an issue that had been annoying us for several months, that squeaky bushing on the driver's side of Aspen. It took a while to isolate where it was coming from, but we finally found that the lower shock bushing was our culprit, so I ordered up a rebuild kit from Icon and began the teardown process. I know I've complained about Icon components failing a bit prematurely in the past. It's actually broke. But overall, when you consider the abuse that we put them through and the miles they usually endure before becoming an issue, we have to admit that they're still a good option, especially when the Kings and others have extremely long lead times. With over 60,000 miles of travel on these bushings, I'm pretty satisfied considering how many miles of that were off-road. Yeah, you can see the up and the downs like ding 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 ding. What you doing? Huh? You're on camera. You say hi? Hi. Strangely enough, while this side was thoroughly shot, passenger side was actually quite pristine, so I'm not sure why this one decided to self-destruct. While I was inspecting the other components, it's pretty clear that the delta joints are going to need some help, and we're starting to see some fluid loss from the shocks, so a full rebuild will soon be on the docket.
Success!
With our fresh upgrades and repairs calling us to the wild, it was time to hitch up and roll out. This time for a 5-week adventure as we make our way east for yet another Overland Expo, but not before copious amounts of camping along the way. Thanks for riding along with us and watching over our shoulders as we got a bit of shop work out of the way. We truly appreciate you watching, commenting, subscribing, and supporting this channel. Join us next time as we finally get this beautiful combo out into the Utah wilderness and doing what we love most. Until then, stay curious and remember to leave it better than you found it.